Don't be afraid to follow up. Like, I love a good follow up. Okay. I know we feel like a way about that sometimes. To your point, we feel like, oh, if I send something once, they hate it. And I have fallen into that even as a writer early in my career, but I am the follow-up queen. I encourage everyone to do the same because it's honestly helpful, because there is so much happening in the DMs and the emails for a journalist and a writer and a media professional that I appreciate the reminder, oh, thank you, for bringing this back top of mind. And maybe when you send that follow-up, you can maybe even craft a different angle that you may have come up with since the last time, just to give the writer options,
Woo! Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Small Business PR Podcast. I'm so excited to have the one and only Lenora Houseworth today. So she is many things. Not only is she a multi-passionate journalist, she is an advocate. She has written for some of the world's top magazines you might have heard of, such as Teen Vogue, Essence, Hello Beautiful, Black Enterprise, Allure, and so many more. But most importantly, she focuses on issues impacting Black women and women of color. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. You know how to make a girl feel good.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. As you know, I'm all about highlighting diverse voices. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I wanted to reach out to you is because you actually put on your profile, this is really what you love to do, is highlight women of color, Black founders, and elevate their stories. So Can you tell me a little bit about exactly what types of stories you just love writing about the most?
Oh my gosh. I love talking about stories around health and wellness that affect Black women, especially, as well as the creatives and thought leaders and founders in that space. That is my absolute passion.
That's awesome. How you manage your emails, because just because you don't respond to it doesn't mean you're not labeling it and going back to it. So how does that work exactly?
That is correct, because the inbox is crazy. Okay. With all types of different pitches, and it's a lot to sift through because many of them, again, are not aligned with what I cover. So I personally just like to mentally file things away. I do like to have a folder where I put certain stories there for later. But please do not think that just because a writer doesn't respond that we don't see you or hear you and appreciate you and aren't thinking of ways that we can connect in the future. Cause that's just not true at all. It's just, the inbox is crazy.
So is it possible? So first of all, what is the expiration date on a pitch? If I pitch, for example, have you gone into your inbox and picked out a pitch from 6 months ago and emailed that person?
I don't think there's an expiration date on a pitch. You know what I mean? Well, it depends, right? It depends on what angle you're pitching that person. But if you're, a female founder in wellness, I would think that your story never really expires. You just may have a new product, on the market. So I wouldn't worry about that so much. I can't think of a time where expiration has been a thing. But, every journalist is different. But again, I don't be discouraged by that. And don't be afraid to follow up. I love a good follow up. Okay. I know we feel like a way about that sometimes. To your point, we feel like, oh, if I send something once, they hate it. And I have fallen into that even as a writer early in my career. But I am the follow up queen. I encourage everyone to do the same because it's honestly helpful, because there is so much happening in the DMs and the emails for a journalist and a writer and a media professional that I appreciate the reminder, oh, thank you, for bringing this back top of mind. And maybe when you send that follow up, you can maybe even craft a different angle that you may have come up with since the last time, just to give the writer options,
Woo! Chef's kiss. What you're saying is music to my ears, because I always tell my PR students, you have to follow up. You have to follow up. And I think that as small businesses, we're not taught how to cold pitch. It's such an uncomfortable skill
Right.
that even to do the act of pressing the send button is a big lift, right? So to
Yeah.
get someone to follow up is like even bigger. Thank you so much for saying that. I just felt my heart expand when you said that. Thank you for being you. How can people find you and connect with you and read
Yes.
more about you?
Yes. So I have a newsletter with love, Lenora, but you can find me on all the socials at Lenora She Wrote, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. And yeah, Instagram is my fave. Twitter and Instagram right now, although TikTok is kind of that girl as well. So I'm on everything at Lenora She Wrote, and LenoraHouseworth.com is my website if you want to find me.
Thank you so much for
Of
being
course.
you, for being here and showing up.
My pleasure. This was amazing. Thank you for having me.